up, everybody? Okay, that's gonna be my greeting from now on. I don't know why, because I don't like it when people call me Chinese and that makes me sound like one. But moving on, this is a quick video that I decided to make about using these internet speed test meters that we always find on Google when we just Google things, because if you're using any type of connection and your download is slow or your upload is slow, you're wondering why is it so slow, and is it the network, is it my phone or whatever. Sometimes it's your device, sometimes it's the ISP or internet service provider, and you just want to figure it out. But the first thing you do is always to Google a speed tester, or actually use a speed testing application that you would download on your phone. But when you're on your PC or a laptop, first thing you're gonna do is go to Google. Most people, at least 9 out of 10, I'm one of them. So I want to see how reliable they really are, and I'm on Google here. Let's just Google a speed test and then choose the first two that we see here. Okay, so I chose the first one that came up over here, and so now I'm gonna choose the second one. Okay, as you can see, I've already done this before, and just for fun, let's start a third one and do the same thing again. We're gonna Google speed test and we're gonna choose the third. Okay, so now we have three different internet connection speed testers, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a test for each one of them one by one and see if they compare well or not. Alright, so let's start this one, and right now I'm getting a download speed of, you saw right now that it was up to about 14 megabits per second, but it's gone down, and what it's giving me is a reading of 10.7 megabits per second download, and it gives me an upload speed of 19.9 megabits per second. So let's go over to the second tab where we have my broadband and start this test. Alright, and this one is giving me a speed reading of 3, 4, 5. It's probably gonna stick to about 5 megabits per second. Oh, it's gone down. It's going down. And unfortunately, this one is only reading 4.61 megabits per second compared to this one that was actually 10.7 megabits per second on download. And on the upload, it's not done yet, but it's finding 18.96 megabits per second. So both of them found similar upload speed of 19.9 here and 18.96, so it's both around the 19 megabits per second. Let's, for argument's sake, round it off also, because we're not testing it at the same time, but let's say both of them are about 19 megabits per second on the upload, but you can see the download speed is completely different. This one is 10.7, the other one is 4.61, so that's less than half of the first one. Now let's go over to the third one and do the test on this one, see how it does. Will it be the same? I don't know. Okay, this one's already finding, well, I guess this is the more consistent number. It's around the 5 megabits per second mark. So the download speed on this one was 5.68. okay, and the upload speed is 19.66. Now what I found consistent here is that the upload speed is similar on all three of them. This one is 19.66, the second one is 18.96, and this one is also 19.9 megabits per second. So the upload speed is almost consistent in all three of them, but the download speed, these two last ones seem to be similar to each other, about 1 megabits per second apart. And just to make sure that we test this thoroughly. My theory is that it's not really consistently reliable, but let's see what happens when we actually do a test with all three of them running at the same time. So obviously I'm gonna have to move from window to window, but here we go. Let's test again on the first one, test again on the second one, and test again on the third one. Okay, so on the first one is 6.79 megabits per second on the download, and on the second one is 5.5. Ooh, it's going down again. Now we have 5.91 megabits per second download, and in the third, hasn't finished yet. Come on, come on. On the upload side, you can see here that it's actually, no, this is the download side. Okay, so the download side is 6.11 on the third one. Now the download speed, the upload speed, I don't know why I keep confusing these things, but I am, and I'm sorry about that. But the upload speed on the first tester is 0.77 megabits per second. That's very low. It's not even 1 megabits per second. And on the second one, it found that it's 2.34 megabits per second. And let's look at the third one. Now the third one finds 14.33 megabits per second. Now I'm thinking, how can that be? That is a huge difference. From the first one. The first one was like, all three of them were about 19 megabits per second on the upload. And in this one, there's a huge difference in all three of them. As you can see here, there's 14.33 on the last one, and 2.34 on the second one, and 0.77 in this one here on the first one. So that's inconsistent to me. But do you think that it's actually slower? To test the theory that maybe it's slower because the RAM and the processor is processing more or less. Let's do just 2 at a time instead of 3 at a time, okay? So I'm gonna use the first tester and the second one. So I'm gonna click here, test again. I'm gonna give it a few seconds, and then I'm gonna click this one, test again as well. So now we're back on the first one, and it's finding 6.26 megabits per second. I am running them at almost the same time, so they should have very similar download and upload speeds. But let's look at the second one. The second one, not done yet. Okay, but the first one is already done with a upload speed of 8.23. That's different again from the 0.77 earlier on this tester here. And on the second one, it's not even done with the download test yet. Oh, it's done with the download. It's now doing the upload test. So the download speed on the second one is 11.54 megabits per second. The upload speed is 17.37 megabits per second. Just the two of them alone, if you're thinking it's a difference in RAM, well, this one finished last, so it's a little bit higher. I don't know, maybe running them at the same time is using RAM, because this one is higher since it was running alone on the upload test. But even the difference in the download speed is already almost half. It's about it's almost half. Okay, so the download speed is 6.26 on the first one and 11.54 megabits per second on the second one. That's almost half of a difference. And on the upload speed is also just as well, like twice as much on the second one, because this is 8.23 megabits per second and the second one is 17.37 megabits per second. So I find that they're not really consistent, because if you wanted to test your internet speed, what you're gonna do is test your internet speed right as you are having trouble with them, or when you're trying to know. Like this one right now is running alone, and it's finding download speed of 24.3 megabits per second. That's pretty high. Now if I was to rely on this and then go on and do different tasks using my web browser and connecting through the internet, watching videos and stuff like that, this might drop drastically. So this test it could be irrelevant. So I don't know. What do you think about it? Do you think these speed test meters are actually reliable? Do you rely on them? When you use them, do you ever think about the fact that they might be unreliable? Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Thanks for watching. Peace.